everyone, and welcome to this week's Link for Growth Southwest Herts TV show. We're running a bit late, we're having a few technical problems, but we've still got a full programme for you. This week, Chris and Tania are reporting on the latest Watford news and other news from Rickmansworth and around the area in Southwest Herts. Catherine is here this week with the latest news and details of charity events and events for this weekend's diary, and you'll need an extension, an extra space for this weekend's diary of events. And I'm happy to report that, fingers crossed, if we can sort out the technical problem, Neal is back from his travels with all the local sports news. As usual, you can contact us on Link for Growth Southwest Herts on Twitter. That's at L4G SW Herts on Twitter, or you can get in touch with us via the Southwest Herts Link for Growth website. Okay, Neal's going to be talking about how well Watford played last week when they won 2-0 against West Ham, and he's going to preview this week's game against a informed Leicester team. And he's also going to talk about water polo, and Watford Water Polo Club seem to be going from strength to strength. Catherine, what have you got for us?
Hi, yeah, I've got lots of information about fireworks events coming up this weekend. It's quite an extensive list, so I'll run through them fairly swiftly and then post all the details up online. We've also got lots of Remembrance services on Sunday, of course, along with lots of other social events going on, and the latest restaurant review. Stay tuned.
Okay, and I've just realised that something I sent out is not quite in the right order. So, Chris, what are you going to talk about today?
Well, I've got a story about the community council in Rickmansworth. Rickmansworth don't have one. I don't have a parish council, so they're looking to try and get something set up there to give the community a bit more voice. I'm going to be talking about some funding that's been available for local groups. There's a thing called a small grant funding, which has been made available to a few people actually that have made the news this week. And I'm going to be talking about Charter Place. I was there last week. Unfortunately, we had a problem with the microphone and whatnot, but I can give you a bit of an update on what they've been saying in the newspapers about that, which is quite interesting. So I'll be covering that, and that's about me. I think that's me just about done.
Okay, and Tania, you're going to be talking about the Christmas market, I understand, and the big skate.
I am, yes. So there's loads of stuff going on with the Christmas market. Brilliant stuff with the skating coming back, and I've got some drama for us too.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Okay, first of all though, let's talk about what happened during Link for Growth events in the past week. We had a coffee last Saturday morning at Barracuda Cafe next to Watford Market. Now on Monday, Chris had the opportunity to test a lemon drizzle cake at the kitchen at Croxley Green. I see the mentioned lemon drizzle cake was made on Facebook, Chris.
Yeah, they're all getting behind this lemon drizzle story now. I think I might have to start eating some.
Well, we want to you to make some direct comparisons between Ocean Bells and the kitchen and a couple of other places that host various coffees for us. Then on Wednesday there was a Link for Coffee at Regis in Clarendon, at Regis Building on Clarendon Road in the middle of Watford, which was quite well attended again. And then yesterday, Chris, you were back in Carpenter's Park at Perk Coffee.
I certainly was back down there, and this is quite a good event because it's supported by Eric Bishop, who's the chairman of the council for Three Rivers. So he sends out an email around to, well, not an email, well, I think it might be an email, but it goes out in his newsletter as well to all the people in Carpenter's Park, which is where he actually is. That's his. Of course, as the mayor this year, he's not political in any shape or form, but normally he's the councillor for that part of the woods. So he knows the area quite well. But yeah, no, it was good. There was a few old faces down there. You might have recognised the name of Aidan. Aidan was down there. Tania, who you remember of old?
Oh, fabulous, Aidan Nicol.
That's the guy. Yeah. So he popped.
Brilliant chap. Brilliant chap.
he popped in to see us, which was good. Mina was there, and and a guy called Keith Hubert, who I know from previous networking, turned up, and it was nice to catch up with him as well.
Yeah, I know Keith as well. He's a really nice man. And earlier today we had the CSR lunch at Scotsbridge Mill, which was actually, because of the part of the discussion, Chris, was really quite informative. In that someone said, although a friend of theirs was thinking of setting up a charity and were looking for some advice. And after a discussion, I think the conclusion was, well, actually, you've got to do much of the same thing as you would for a business, but you've also got a few extra hurdles to jump through.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it was a really useful meeting all round. Really, he was doing some interesting things as well. He's got a new networking thing he's trying to get off the ground. So, it comes sort of in line with what we're doing with the Community Kickstarter initiative. In that, there's lots of people out there trying to do good things, trying to set up things for the community, and if we can get all that put into a place where everyone can access it in a nice, easy way, what a fantastic thing that would be.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. Okay, Chris, you've got some news for us. Starting off with news that 1,800 people signed a petition calling for a community council to be set up in Three Rivers.
Indeed, and I know the people behind this. Nina and Miles Hoskin are the kind of main thrust behind this. It's all come about because of such issues as they might want to put Christmas lights up in the high street, and they have to go with a begging bowl to the council every year. There's no sort of other funding which they can access that could be put away and sort of ring-fenced for things that the community might want, that they just really need to be able to get on and do, really. So the area that's covered by this is Ricky itself, Moore Park, Eastbury, Penn, Mill-End, Maple Cross, Herons Gate, West Hyde and Chorleywood South, some of that area as well. So a petition was submitted on the 29th, Thursday the 29th of October, to the council. Basically now there is a period which can take, it's kind of a governance review period, which can take up to a year for them to decide whether there's a case for a community council to be basically set up. It all sounds very, very laborious and all very bureaucratic, to be fair, but lots of places have got parish councils. They're all over the shop basically, and this is an area of Watford or the South West Herts district that's just not serviced by a parish council. So why not is the obvious question, and of course there are 1,800 people who've signed that who are saying, well, we need to think about it and we need to have something like this. So good on them.
Yeah. And there's some funding available to help local groups, which sounds a very Link for Growth thing, but it's not a Link for Growth initiative.
No, it's definitely not. It's small grant funding that's available through the council. And Watford Borough Council, for example, have given £1,000 to a community interest company called Herts Creation. And what they do is they're kind of, through sculpture and arts, they're kind of helping to sort of establish relationships between young people and their emotional well-being through using art and sculpture. There's 16 sessions have already been held at Francis Combe and along with Francis Combe, and Signpost Counselling, another group there, and they've got this exhibition going. I didn't make notes about the dates of the exhibition because they were last week and you've missed it. So, but Dorothy's been mentioned at the end of the article. There's suggesting that she encourages everybody to apply for these small grants if they've got a need. Yes,
and I think Hertsmere have done something similar, haven't they?
I don't know too much about that, but you can get up to £2,000 for and I don't know whether you've got Tania covering the Vibe story later, but they've also successfully grabbed a chunk of cash as well.
Yeah, and Charter Place. Now, last week we all heard you, but for some reason the sound dropped out on the recording. Saying farewell to Charter Place, and because the bulldozers started to go in, and if you look at the building now, the scaffolding around various parts of it as they start to take out paving slabs and remove the park benches.
Yeah, it's all sort of starting now. I suppose it's fairly light touch stuff at the moment, just taking out the street furniture and whatnot, but there's still 3 businesses operating there at the moment. Wilco's is still there, Argos is still there, and Warren James the jeweller is still operating there. Now, Argos are confirmed as departing the area on the 14th of November, and it's quite, I mean, it's it's some interesting interviews or comments being made. There's someone from St Albans, a 40-year-old, that they said in the newspaper that it's it's about time really, and that a rejuvenated Charter Place is going to bring lots more people and more business into Watford. But as we said last week, 10 screen cinema, that's great. 16 restaurants, but and loads of, or 10 restaurants and 16 shops or something like that. But there were already shops there and stuff like this, so that's not necessarily new ones. That you've got to say the net impact will probably be minimal on that score, but we will have a 10 screen cinema in the centre of town. And if you cast your mind back, and some people might know this, but there were 3 cinemas in Watford town centre many moons ago. There was the Odeon, which was up near where Sainsbury's is. You had the Flea Pit, as it was called, which was down behind at the end of Market Street.
I remember the Flea Pit.
I saw. I reminiscing.
It's called the Empire.
Yeah. That's not, we called it the Flea Pit. Anyway, I saw Jaws 1 there, by the way.
I saw Aliens 2.
Hey, there you go. So a bit of history there thrown in for good measure on this piece, this segue section, as it were. So there's a 40-year-old that said it's going to bring more business in, but that person's from St Albans, so I'm not sure why they didn't find someone in Watford to talk about this. But Tim King from the Gateway, 36-year-old, said that businesses have been closing for quite a while there in Charter Place, and it's looking a bit sorry for itself. Well, of course, a lot of them got compulsory purchase orders and had to leave anyway. So it wasn't as if it was a choice. They were sort of told to get out. And there's a lady here, an interesting lady from Croxley, 82-year-old, who said, it might be a 10-screen cinema, maybe lots of other lovely, exciting things, but when the market was there, us oldies could just fall off the bus and go into the market, and we could meet up every week with our friends and use the local facilities. Unfortunately, there's nothing for them.
No. And finally, Chris, actually it's you who's going to talk about Vibe Radio getting some cash grant to avoid closure. Now, you went and visited Vibe earlier in the year, didn't you? You did an interview with the DJ.
Well, I interviewed the guy that runs it, actually, the manager, Howard Groves. Nice chap. And basically, what's happened is that their black box has died, allegedly, whatever that is. I'm sure that's not one of those things they carry around in a plane. But apparently, without their black box, the show can't go out and they can't work there. And there's about, and they are the 3rd largest of their ilk in the country, the Vibe at 107.6. And they've got about 40 volunteers on the book doing all sorts of, all manner of different things. So they've secured a £2,000 grant from this same small grant fund, and that's basically been a bit of a lifesaver for them.
Okay, well that's really good, and because of course it does actually do quite a lot of really good local work, doesn't it?
Yeah, they cover a lot of the local stuff. If you need music anywhere, or you need somebody to sort of like the events we have in the parks and the events we have in the towns, they generally get involved in stuff like that. They also have good contacts in terms of things like if you need a portable stage somewhere, or you need sound systems and all that. And they support a lot of they're in the same building as the Community Housing Trust, so they support a lot of things that that they get up, the Housing Trust gets up to, and just, you know, it's a bunch of really good local people who really do get out and do community stuff. So it's a great asset to the town, and it would have been a travesty to lose it, to be honest.
Okay, well, at this point I should be asking Neal to do the sport, but I think Neal must have 1 or 2 issues or something like that with his internet connection. He'll be busy in his shop, so I'm going to have to do the news. So thank you very much, Chris, for your bit.
Thank you very much. No, it's great.
And we'll catch you later. Okay. So in sports news, of course, the main sports news is that Watford beat West Ham, who were at the time 3rd in the table last week, 2-0. And according to the Watford coach, Quique Sanchez-Flores, he's reckoned it was the best performance Watford have done in of the season so far, and it was above their expectations. Everyone seemed to be very happy with the result. Everyone was very pleased with it. There's lots of social media echoing those comments about how great the performance was by Watford over the last few days. Yeah, and even the West Ham manager, Billick, was saying that Watford played really well. And of course, the Watford scorer was the man at the moment, which is the name escapes me at the moment. This is what happens when you have to fill in. Odin Igalo scored twice, and once in each half, and people are now saying what a great player he is. He's been involved in all but one of Watford's goals this season, either scoring or making them, laying on the assist, or whatever it is to make the goals happen. Then, talking of Watford legends, which Igalo is fast becoming, Lloyd Dawley, who played over 400 games for Watford, played for Charlton Athletic in the Kent Senior Cup earlier this week. This is the first time that Doyley has ever played for another team in any sort of competitive match. He's been with Watford for about 20 odd years, since he was a schoolboy. As I said, he played over 400 times for Watford, and is a really loyal Watford fan as well as being a player. He's played in the last time Watford were in the Premier League. He played in that team. He played with Watford when they were in the lower regions of all the different leagues and everything. So he's now been released by Watford. He's trying to get back he got his match fitness back by playing at Watford in reserve games and things like that, and he's now on trial at Charlton, and of course we wish him all the very best. And one of the big summer signings of Watford was Capoue, who many questioned why Watford signed the former Spurs French midfielder, because he at Spurs had a very wasn't considered regular, wasn't considered good enough and everything. But he's saying what a great difference it is being at Watford compared to at Spurs. He feels settled. He says great team spirit at Watford, and he's saying that he's really glad he made the move from Spurs to Watford, and that he's looking forward to staying with Watford and seeing Watford safe in the Premier League next season. The other big news is that Michael Leyen, who is the Watford midfielder who was sent out on loan to Porto, scored again in the Champions League, which is the European Cup competition for teams and clubs. Apparently, the chances are that he may well come back to Watford next season. His form apparently is considered to be outstanding. The move seems to have settled him, to help him settle down to playing in Europe, because he used to play in Mexico. He's also having a good impact on the Porto team, and hopefully Watford will get him back next season. And Watford are also looking forward to 3 of their players, or perhaps not looking forward to 3 of their players earning international call-ups in the next few days. Igalo is being called up by Nigeria, and Craig Cathcart has been called up by Northern Ireland to play in the friendly against Latvia and Belfast a week today, actually, on the 13th of November. And centre-back Prodel being called up to represent Austria on Tuesday, the 17th of November, when they play Switzerland in a friendly in Vienna. So that's 3 Watford players. Watford are expecting more players to be called up over the next few days and weeks. Big news there, of course, is that Watford are playing again tomorrow against one of the informed teams in the Premier League. That's Leicester, who have been this team's surprising team. Leicester have a history of coming back from losing positions to either draw or win games. This season they're doing very well. They're 4th in the league, I think, or 5th, I can't quite remember, but they're 4th or 5th in the league. It should be a really good game. Watford haven't played Leicester since the season that Leicester got promoted, which was the season after that really dramatic goal that you may have seen on YouTube and everything, that scored at the end of 90 minutes, where the Watford goalkeeper Aluma saved the penalty. Rebound went up the field, and Watford passed the ball around and scored an injury time winner to see them through to the playoff final against Crystal Palace. And then the following season, teams played each other. That season, Leicester went up. So this is the first time in 2 years, that Watford are going to be playing them. I'm not quite sure what Neal's prediction for this game was, because we haven't had a chance to speak to him. But Watford do have a couple of injury concerns, with Garrido still injured and he's now missed 5 games. Hopefully he'll be fit again for the game after the international break, which takes place next weekend. And but the good news is that Igalo, who scored twice last week and who limped off injured after a clumsy tackle by a West Ham player, will be fit and ready to go. So that's good news for Watford. So I don't know what all the predictions are, but I would imagine it's probably going to be a 1-1 draw, with 2 very informed teams playing fairly attacking football. Kings Langley have been doing very well in the league, but they can't seem to get any cup form going. Last Saturday they played in the FA Trophy qualifying first round and lost 2-0 to Bury Town. They showed, again, they were inconsistent. That's plagued the inconsistency that's plagued their season this year. And after 2 excellent performances over the previous week, and for the first 15 minutes of this game, before they started to kind of lose their way and ended up losing 2-0, with both goals being scored in the second half. And then on Tuesday, Kings Langley lost to Berkhamsted 4-1. The prize at stake was a game with Watford at home. Both teams attacked off the mark, but again, what happened is Kings Langley took the lead, and then Berkhamsted came back and won with three first half goals and then one more in the second half. So that's Kings Langley out of 2 competitions in less than a week. Tomorrow, though, they're playing at Fleet, 3 o'clock kickoff with an afternoon game. This should be, on paper, a good win for Kings Langley, because they're 7th in the league and Fleet is 2nd from bottom. So hopefully that will be 3 more points for Kings Langley. Other sport is water polo. Now, Neal talked about Watford Water Polo Club in the during the summer, saying what a great run they're on. Well, they've extended their run again, because Watford Water Polo Club continued that extending winning run by winning at Birmingham. They won. They now still have a 100% record in the British Water Polo League, despite Birmingham taking an early lead. 3-0, Watford went on to win the game 14-11. So Watford are obviously going water polo team are obviously going really well in the league. Okay, that concludes the sports news. Catherine, rather than you doing big chunk this week, we've kind of broken it up a little bit because there's lots of different events happening. And let's start with some fireworks, shall we? There's the big Glastonbury fireworks going on tomorrow night in the park. Perhaps you could tell us about them.
Yeah, this is the main event in Catherine Park. I mean, anybody who's from Watford or surrounding areas know that there's always a big firework display in Catherine Park, and it's well worth, saving your money on the things that you can do in your garden and going down to an organised display. The one in Catherine is always a good one. It's run by the council. It's supported by Watford Lions. If you get down there good and early, about 6 o'clock. Then I can't guarantee you're going to be able to park because there's usually a bit of a queue around there. If you can walk, then walk. But the bonfire's lit at 7. There's a range of food that you can buy throughout the evening. Fireworks display actually starts at 7:30. Usually lasts for about 20 minutes, and it is pretty spectacular. I'd advise getting there early if you can. Take a torch. Because it's always a bit of a struggle to find your way out again afterwards. It's quite dark by the end of it, but it's well worth it. As I say, it's supported by Watford Lions, so there will be a collection. Please give generously.
Okay, that's great. But there's one in Abersangley, I believe, tonight, a fireworks display.
Oh gosh, well there's lots of displays all over the place. Shall I list off the ones that are here? I'll go very quickly, but I will put all the links up. There's one in Verulam Park. There's one at the Old Albanians Rugby Club in St Albans. There's one in Trail.
Are these tonight or tomorrow?
Oh, these all vary. Saturday. I'm trying to find the one in Abbots. Is that the one for tonight?
I believe so.
Abbots, supported by the Lions Club of Watford. Manor House Playing Field, that's Abbots Langley. That's tonight. Gates open at 6:30. Fireworks at 7:30. Go along to that one as well.
Yeah, and there's also something happening in Rickmansworth.
Rickmansworth. Oh gosh. There probably is, yes. I don't know, I've got the whole list of them, and I haven't actually looked at the dates. I mean, they all vary from whether they're on tonight, Saturday, or Sunday. If I can, I'll post all the links up this evening, and then you can have a look. There is one happening in South Oxley tonight as well. That's also tonight at the Ainsdale Road South Oxley display. That's at 6:30. Most of them seem to be Saturday night. As I say, there's all around the area. There's Berkhamsted, there's Butterfly World, there's Hemel Football Club, there's Firework Extravaganza at Harpenden Rugby Club, there's a display at the Met Police Station, including fairground and charity stalls. That's Sunday. The Abbots Langley one I've mentioned. Rickmansworth, Park Road in Rickmansworth are having one. That's tonight as well. At 7:30. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, so I think it's a case of, yes, there's a lot going on. There are events happening every night this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Check your local listings.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now this Sunday is Remembrance Day, and you've got some details of some of the local events that are happening.
Indeed. Now this is a little easier to remember because these all happen on Sunday. So lots of the churches around the area hold their Sunday services, and it's good to remember that if it's an 11 o'clock service, the service will start at 10 to 11 to allow for the 2-minute silence, which is always at 11 o'clock. If it's a 10:30 service, then you'll find it's part of the service. Abbots Langley are having a remembrance service at St Lawrence's Church. Aldenham are having one on Letchmore Heath. Bushey have their usual one at St James's Church. I think that includes a parade as well at 2 o'clock. Chorleywood are having one in Christchurch on the Common. Croxley Green have a parade and also their service at All Saints Church. Oxley have one on Oxley Village Green. Kings Langley at All Saints Parish Church. Radlett at Christchurch. Rickmansworth at Our Lady Help of Christians at 2, and Watford's elected Mayor Dorothy Thornhill will lead the wreath laying ceremony at the Peace Memorial at the Town Hall from 3. again, I'll post the link of all these and check your local details as well. Guarantee there's going to be a service somewhere near you.
Okay. Now, just very briefly, because it's happening at the moment, almost as we speak, which is why I'm talking about it now. Watford has yet another beer festival.
Well, Watford can never have too many beer festivals. I'd just like to point that out. And this is beer and cider festival. Yeah, lots of local breweries are taking part in this. We've got the Paradigm Brewery, we've got Pope's Yard Brewery as well. So there's cider, there's beer, there's perry as well, if beer isn't your thing. Yeah, it started last night. It's going on tonight. From 11 a.m. this morning, so you could probably step over a few people if you're going along a bit later on today. Finishes at 11 o'clock tonight. It's also on tomorrow, same times, 11 till 11. Yeah, go along. There's always a good crowd. There's a marquee out in the grounds. This is at West Hart Sports and Social Club, just off Rickmansworth Road. Entrance is £2.50. If you're a member of CAMRA, Campaign for Real Ale, then it's free. It's supported and run by Watford CAMRA Group. As I say, there's a big marquee outside. There's food you can buy. There's a great atmosphere and loads of new beers, ciders and perries to try.
Okay, well that sounds really good. Good. Thank you for that. We're going to be talking to you again a bit later for events that are happening nearer to Christmas time.
Okie dokie.
Okay, great. Tania, hi.
Hi there.
Hi. You've got some news about some free Wi-Fi launched in Watford sheltered housing.
Isn't this just great news, Diane? Watford Borough Council, in Technology Wi-Fi today, announced that free Wi-Fi has been installed across Watford's community centres and sheltered housing schemes. You know, one of my things is about helping the least well off in our societies. So I'm really pleased that all of the Watford Community Housing Trust's buildings are now covered by this. How fabulous is that? Wi-Fi is such an important thing to get people connected to the world and enable people to do things and learn things online without leaving their home, but also to give them a bit of extra push, a bit of extra confidence to get them out of their home. So actually having this free Wi-Fi across all of these community hubs and sheltered housing schemes is the brilliant thing. So I'm really, really pleased.
Yeah, it is good news. And I mean, my parents got their first PC for home. It was a 60th wedding anniversary, and they're both in their 80s at the time. Sorry, no. My mother will kill me for that. She wasn't quite in her 80s. She was 79 at the time. And they just say how great it is because, you know, they Skype family members who live around the country, you know, and their neighbours say they Skype their grandchildren who are sort of like on the other side of the world. And you just think, how liberating is that in these days where families that used to live almost cheek by jowl are now spread to the far-flung corners of the world, and yet they can still maintain a reasonably good relationship with them and regular contact with them through these kind of things like Wi-Fi and then linking them up to iPads.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the fact that Skype is free, you know, we've always, well, no, we haven't always, but for many years we've been able to telephone people a long way away, but of course that costs you. Skype is free, so communicating with your family members a lot across those long distances for these people in sheltered housing schemes is a brilliant thing to do. And of course it's not just the old in these schemes, sorry, the people who are experienced than others. It's also the people who are different in other ways in society. So it really does help to pull together all sections of the community. It's a fantastic thing. Brilliant.
Exactly. And talking of the community, we've had more detail. Last week, Chris, we announced on the show that planning permission had been launched for the German Christmas market. It had been agreed and everything, and it was definitely coming to Watford. And there's been a couple of press releases on the subject, and I believe you've got more information for us.
I have. So last year we had one or two little wooden chalets. Apparently this year there's going to be even more. And it's going to be this end of the high street, so fantastic, really, really good up here. Traditional wooden chalets again, selling a range of seasonal treats and wares, according to the press release, including German sausages. Now, we've seen a German sausage seller at the other end of the high street, so presumably it's the same one coming a bit further north, don't know. But also toys, accessories, mulled wine, German beer, Stollen, that fabulous cakey type thing that's got marzipan in it, I think.
Yeah.
Lovely. Beautiful carousel. I'm looking forward to seeing the carousel with the children all playing on it too.
Yeah.
Love the carousel.
Yeah, you set up this end of the high street. Perhaps you could just describe which end of the high street you're at.
The pond end of the high street. So up around about the pond, in between. I understand it's going to be in between the normal our normal Watford market and the top end of the high street there.
Okay, that's great. And the big skate, or perhaps I should call it the bigger skate, is back.
That's right. It was brilliant. Last year the first year they did it? I don't know. It was absolutely fabulous. And this year it's coming back, and it's even bigger, and it's got fairy lights. How exciting! Love the fairy lights. It's real proper ice, so that's fantastic. And of course you've got the opportunity for mulled wine and mince pies, because they've got an extra little area there now that is going to sell you mulled wine and mince pies, I understand. So some pretty amazing improvements, bigger, twinkling lights and trees, and have a hot drink or a sweet treat whilst either watching or afterwards. Prices $8.50 for adults, $6.50 for children. Also concession prices available. And you know, last year they had these little, well, they look like seals that the younger children could sit on whilst they're being pushed around. So great for all the family. Sessions last 45 minutes, includes the hire of the ice skates. Booking is highly recommended. If you've got a wheelchair user that you want to take on the ice, then that's really highly recommended to book in advance, and they only do that in off-peak times. So for health and safety reasons, so they say, if you're a wheelchair user and you want to get on the ice, then that's an off-peak ticket. So well done you. Cool.
Okay, that's great. Some of the background noise you heard was Neal trying to join us. I'll come back to Neal in a moment and talk more about Watford and everything, because he can talk about it with knowledge and authority, which is something I can't. I just read the script. And the last thing that you were going to talk about was talking of players, football players, but here we're talking about theatrical players.
That's right. So the Abbots Langley players are putting on a murder mystery play this month. So if you want a really good whodunit, they're going to be performing Death by Fatal Murder, which is by a writer called Peter Gordon, between the 18th of November and the 21st of November. It'll be at Henderson Hall in Abbots Langley, and there'll be a matinee performance on the Saturday. So some really great theatrical stuff happening in Abbots Langley there. The director's done quite a lot in the area and done some stuff on Southwest Herts Drama Festival too. And what she says about this is that it's very difficult to make a difficult play look easy, and that's what she hopes she's achieved with this one. The cast have worked extremely hard, and she hopes that the end result is as funny and as well received as the first Pratt play that they did, which was something else to do with murder. Anyway, this one's called Death by Fatal Murder, and they're really looking forward to putting it on for you just in November here.
Okay, that's great. Neal, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Well, I know that you've had a few technical problems.
I need a new computer, sorry.
Don't worry, don't worry. These things happen. Now, I've kind of been through much of the stuff that, you know, when I'm putting this together, the links and all that sort of stuff. But I was trying to... I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, apart from the fact I said it might well be a 1-1 draw, but I don't know what I'm talking about. You watch a lot more football than I do. How was like? Let's start with last week's game, and then I'd like your prediction about tomorrow's game and and what's likely to happen there. So shall we start with last week? It was a really good result, with a really good game. I see lots of people are talking about it being the best game of the season.
Yeah, it was a fantastic result, and on the back of some very good performances, even the loss against Arsenal, up the first 60 minutes played excellently, and everyone was really confident coming away from that. And then off the back of very good away win to Stoke. I went to the game a bit nervous, to tell the truth, because West Ham's away form this season has been spectacular, and they've beaten all the top clubs. So after 10 minutes, where it was a bit cagey at the beginning, I was very surprised and very pleased to see Watford just completely take control of the game. Winning every second ball, their possession was fantastic, and they really just dominated, and so much so that with 30 minutes to go, West Ham pretty much reverted to trying to foul us and trying to get our players sent off. So that's the frustration they were under, the fact they were doing that. So it was an amazing performance, and Mr. Flores himself said it even exceeded his expectations. He sent them out with a plan. They stuck to the plan, and they actually made it better with their work rate and their passing and their retention of the ball. They improved on the plan he gave. So absolutely brilliant result.
Okay, that's really good. And now tomorrow, is it Gerardo is still out injured?
Yeah, Gerardo's still out injured, but he has been during this run, so I don't think that's really going to affect the team at all. I mean, personally, it's a shame for him because he's an exciting player to watch.
Will he get back when he's fully fit quite easily, do you think, or is? I think
he'll have to win his place. Isn't it? I think he'll have to win his place back. I think he'll get straight back into the match day squad, no problem at all, because he is a very talented player. But whether he'll get a starting place straight away. Because the team have been playing well without him, so there's no real need to. Tomorrow's game against Leicester is a really tricky one. They are the surprise team of the season. They're sitting in third place, and they've only lost one day all season. They've got the two top scorers in the league. And Vardy's the top scorer on 9, and he's incredibly quick. So Kike Flores has said he's done his work. He knows the team. He knows their dangers. And as has been found out by the Watford supporters, he does know his stuff, and it's not a surprise. Every team that plays Watford seems to have a bad day. They all report that we had a bad day. Well, the bad day is because Kike Flores is so organised and sends the team out with an individual plan for every single match. So he'll do the same tomorrow. It's going to be a challenge, though. They are a team that never gives up. They've come from behind many times this season to win games or get points from games. So it's going to be exciting. I'm still confident, but a draw would be a great result. I agree with you. A draw would be a good result.
Okay, and then the other thing is every team having a bad day has even made the national press, hasn't it?
Yeah, people have finally cottoned on that actually we are the real deal, and some very, very complimentary articles in the press last week, which is great to see. Both Guardian and the Telegraph. I got a suspicion the Guardian reporter may be a Watford supporter the way he was so gushing, but it's great. It's great, and they'll all be taking notice now. Even Mark Lawrence put us down for a win last week, and that's the first time all season. So they're all taking notice.
Yeah, well, that's really good. The other thing is that Watford have got 1-2 players out on loan, and I was talking about how well Lawrence seems to be playing in Portugal. And Flores is sort of saying that he might well come back at the end of the loan period, or intimating, let's put it that way. Yeah,
he that was the surprise signing, the person we lost at the end of the season. Now, it only came out afterwards that he had actually asked for a move because he was worried about his international place, and Porto are playing in the Champions League, so it was a great opportunity for him personally. But yeah, it's great. He's been sent out on loan. He's playing well, and it can only put his value up if we do sell him. And or, as you say, at the end of the season, we could bring him back and he could fit into our squad. I'm sure if he feels he could maintain a place in the Watford squad in the Premiership, he probably would come back. But it seems to him, and I don't blame the chap, his international place is his number one priority, and if he wasn't getting in the match day squad at Watford, that could have suffered. And he's a bit of a legend in Mexico, and I think he wants to keep that status up.
Yeah, and I mean, so far they've played, what, 11 games? So we're just over a quarter of the way through the season, aren't we?
Yeah.
It seems to be doing better than expected, Watford.
Not better than I expected, better than everyone else expected. I expect us to finish a little bit higher in the league than we are right now, actually, tell the truth. I've been telling everyone all season that we are the real deal. But, yes, for a team that's gone up, they're doing very well. And right now to be sitting pretty in just above mid-table when you're seeing other teams struggle at the bottom is quite a nice position to be in.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you for joining us and helping to paper over some of the cracks I left in the sports news. And Catherine,
Hello.
Green Social.
Yes. On Saturday the 14th of November, go along to the Cafe in the Park at the Aquadrome in Rickmansworth from 10:30 in the morning till 12:30. They're holding a meeting for anybody interested in sharing thoughts, projects, concerns, anything at all about green issues in the local area. It sounds like a very worthwhile meeting. Go and chat to like-minded people about green issues.
Okay, that sounds really good. And the Peace Hospice have their annual Lights of Love and Remembrance ceremony coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a popular commemoration. They're inviting people to remember and celebrate the lives of loved ones who are no longer with us. The ceremony is called the Lights of Love Commemorations. There's 3 ways to get involved. You can attend the Lights of Love ceremony outside Watford Central Library on Wednesday the 2nd of December, and that's at 7:30. There are also another 2 ceremonies that take place in Boreham Wood and Potter's Bar later in November and December. You can send a message of dedication in memory of a loved one. There's a registration form on the Peace Hospice website, and they'll send you full details. Or you can give a donation in memory of a loved one and help the Peace Hospice to be there for someone who will need help during the winter. The ceremonies are family occasions, open to people of all faiths and backgrounds, and they provide a time for peaceful remembrance with carols, readings, and a chance to dedicate a light to your loved one. So there's full details on the website.
Okay. And Rickmansworth have announced that they're going to have a Christmas evening.
Yeah, very nice idea. Time to celebrate. This is on the 27th of November, Friday the 27th of November. They're having a parade, there's festive stalls, there's a festive fairground, Little Fox's Market will be there. Incidentally, Little Fox's Market will also be in Watford High Street on Sunday. If you want to go down, they do lots of crafty goodies. There'll also be Phoenix Morris dancers there. There'll also be, beforehand, there's, if you go onto the Rickmansworth Town website, there's details of lantern making workshops that they're having, so that everybody can make a lantern, and on the day of the festival there will be a lantern ceremony, which all sounds like a fabulous idea. That's the 27th of November. Okay,
and finally, something called Santa's Dash. Is this kind of like a pre-Christmas exercise regime?
Yes, everybody should take part. Not just for people, but for dogs as well. So gather up your friends, colleagues, and the whole family, and join our sea of Super Santas. You can walk, sprint, scoot, or jog around a festive 2.5-mile Santa Dash. And this is all through the streets of Hemel Hempstead. And they say you can even bring your jingle dog. Well, why not? They supply Santa suits, reindeer ears for the little ones. They will greet you at the finish line with a mince pie and a hot drink, plus a puzzle book for little Santas, and even a doggy treat for your jingle dog. Registration is £15 for adults, £5 for children, or bring the whole family, including the dog, for £35. And this is on Sunday the 13th of December, 9 till 11. It actually gives 2 times, 9 till 11 and also 10 o'clock. So I'm guessing if you get there at 9, they'll get you sorted with suits and all the rest of it, and then probably it starts at 11. But that sounds like a great deal of fun.
Yeah, it does. It does. And of course, it's a fundraising for St Francis, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, St Francis Hospice.
Well, okay, in preparation for that running, you need to eat well. So where have you been this week for the restaurant review, Catherine?
Well, this is a very interesting one. If anybody's been to the new GBK restaurant in Watford High Street, then you will easily find the restaurant that's next door to it. So when you've got the main entrance of Into, or the Harlequin Centre, as some of us still call it, where you've got the main entrance, just to the right you've got GBK, just to the right of them is a new restaurant called Meat and Shake. If you like meat and you like milkshakes, then you're going to love it. It's basically an American smokehouse barbecue type restaurant. So there's lots of meaty things on the menu: burgers, hot dogs, ribs, all with a variety of different sauces, smoked, barbecue, hot sauces. Don't go too hot because they really are very hot. But yeah, it's a lovely place. We went there for a Sunday lunchtime, very warmly greeted, and we had a lovely meal. If you like chicken, there's a whole load of chicken things on the menu, so something for everyone. So very friendly service in there. We had something that did have a very hot sauce on it. I would be careful about your sauces, but they're on the table, so you could add or leave them as you wish. But yeah, go along to Meat and Shake, brand new restaurant, only opened a week and a half ago.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for that tasty treat, and that's all we have time for this week on Link for Growth, Southwest Herts. I'd like to thank Chris, who's had to run off, and Tania and Catherine and Neal for joining us. I know it's been difficult for some people, but thank you all, and we'll all be back next week.
Splendid. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and bye-bye.